They built a city larger than Paris on a lake. They fed their gods with beating hearts torn from the chest. 5 million people bowed for an empire's sake, and then 800 soldiers ended all the rest. Where legends in rhyme are carved in stone and spoke in flame, where gods and empires rise and burn across the page. This is the story of the Aztecs and their game, the greatest show of blood and brilliance on history's stage. Around the year 1300, they arrived from the north, a wandering tribe with nothing but a prophecy and will. They crossed the deserts, driven by a god who called them forth, and settled on an island in a lake they had to fill. But what they built there was beyond imagination. Tenochtitlan rose from swamp into a golden crown, with aqueducts and gardens stretching mile by mile. 200,000 people filled this island town, while Paris had 1/4 of that size and style. Their market at Tlatelolco drew 60,000 every day. With cacao beans as currency and jade for those with wealth, you'd find live animals and medicines on bold display, and barbers, courts, and judges keeping order, trade, and health. They farmed on floating islands built from branch and lake bed mud. They grew maize and beans and chilies where the water lay. They engineered 2 aqueducts to bring the city blood, and fed a population that could not have lived any other way. And their markets made the Spanish conquerors stop in awe. 500 city-states bowed down and paid their dues, in feathers, gold, in cotton cloth, and turquoise stone. The Aztec Emperor collected, never asked for views, and anyone who dared refuse was turned to blood and bone. They built the first compulsory school system known to man. Each child, regardless of their birth, attended every year. Boys learned to fight and farm and serve the empire's plan, and girls learned weaving, song, and how to keep the calendar clear. Not every civilization gave its children this. They worshipped 1,600 gods of rain and war and sun, and every god demanded flesh to keep the world alive. Without the blood of sacrifice, the cosmos came undone. No human heart meant darkness, and no soul could then survive. This was not myth to them. This was physics. Their finest warriors wore the skins of jaguars into war, wore eagle feathers on their helmets, talons on their chest. To reach these ranks, a soldier had to capture 4 or more, and only those who passed this trial wore the sacred crest. In 1487, at the Great Temple's consecration, between 10,000 and 80,000 souls were said to fall. 4 days of sacrifice to mark the empire's celebration. 4 priests at every altar, and no pause or rest at all. They fought the flower wars not to conquer, but to take. Each warrior trained to capture enemies alive. A prisoner delivered meant a sacrifice to make, and bringing back one captive let a warrior's rank survive. And this exact tactic would one day destroy them. In 1519, Hernán Cortés arrived upon the shore, with 800 Spanish soldiers, horses, steel, and guns. The Aztecs had not seen a horse or cannon fire before, and Moctezuma wondered if these were the gods or sons. Moctezuma met the Spaniards at the causeway, dressed in gold. He gave them gifts of jade and feathers, welcomed them inside. He thought perhaps the god Quetzalcoatl had returned as told, and opened every gate, a choice that sealed his empire's tide. No mistake in history cost more than this one welcome. Within a week, the Spaniards held Moctezuma as their guest. A prisoner in his own palace, wrapped in silk and chains, Cortés controlled the emperor and let him face the rest, while gold poured out of Tenochtitlan to fill the Spanish plains. But Cortés understood the empire's fundamental crack. The tribute states despised the Aztec fist and blade. He promised freedom to each people held beneath the yoke and rack, and thousands joined his army in a cross-Mexico crusade. The Aztec Empire fell to its own enemies within. Then smallpox came. Without a sword, without a shield or spear, by 1520 it had killed 4 in every 10. The streets of Tenochtitlan were silenced year by year, and no Aztec warrior knew how to fight this unseen end. For 75 days, the Spanish and their allies held the siege. They cut the aqueducts and starved the city, street by street. The last Aztec emperor, Cuauhtémoc, refused to bend or siege, and fought until the final bridge gave way beneath his feet. On August 13th, 1521, the city burned and fell. 240,000 people died inside its walls. The greatest city of the Western world became a shell, and silence swept across the temples, markets, sacred halls. The Spanish burned the codices, the books of Aztec thought, their histories, their calendars, their medicine and lore, of all the books the Aztec scribes had painted, carved, and wrought. Just 13 books survived the flames, and nothing more. Imagine all of human knowledge burned in 4 days. Today, beneath the streets of Mexico City lie the stones. The Templo Mayor, buried under centuries of ground. The floating farms, the aqueducts, the altars and the bones. The greatest empire of the West now sleeps without a sound. And every year they dig up more of what was lost. They built a world of staggering beauty, genius, dread, and awe. They mapped the stars and fed a city from a swampy lake. And yet the very system of their empire held a fatal flaw. 1,000 enemies who waited for the chance to break. If this legend shook you, if these rhymes have found their mark, then Legends in Rhyme is where your history comes alive. Subscribe and light the channel up, leave comments in the dark. Like every fallen empire that we bring back to survive. The greatest stories wait for you. The next one starts right now.